The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Vote for Hoppe Hour as best local podcast by the Creative Loafing Tampa. Spread the word.
Are you feeling classy today? Sit down, pour a glass of wine, and listen to Hoppe Hour.
You're tuned in to Hoppe Hour, an hour where Hoppe rants about something. Sit back and listen in. Hoppe Hour is on now. Hoppe Hour is on now.
What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And for the next hour, I will attempt to entertain you. For the next hour, I will attempt to make you laugh and maybe make you smile with my rants. But first, tweet at me your comments at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Maybe you think I'm great and you love my sexy voice and you want to let me know. Tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Or maybe you hate me. Tweet me and let me know. But first, let's let this beat drop. Oh, yeah. Let's get turned up. Woo! Oh, yeah. I came up with a very intriguing idea today. My guy, Nicholas, let me get his name correct here. My guy, Nicholas Seymour, is making me decals that can go on your car. It can go on your office. It can go in your cubicle. It can go in your room. He's making me Hoppe Hour decals. I cannot wait for them to come in. My guy, Ryan Fletcher, a.k.a. Ryan Redbird on Twitter, has been supporting me too. I came up with a really good idea that isn't even close to being in fruition because I came up with it today. But email me what you do. If you're an artist, if you have a company, a restaurant, anything you do, a personal business, a venture, a side project, email me, Ryan at hopperadio.com. And I can't promise anything, but I came up with a really good idea. Very intriguing. I actually was pretty proud of how I came up with it. So email me and let's see what we can do. All right. I'm actually very surprised that this headline isn't on any of the news channels. But then again, it kind of makes sense with where the news cycle is in 2015. The only reason I heard about this is I got sick of getting my news prep from all the American news sites because it's all about Donald Trump, Ashley Madison, Kim Kardashian. Did I say Kim Kardashian? And I need to find sites that aren't about Donald Trump. So I went to the Daily Mail and I saw this and I go, oh, wow, this is overseas. They are crazy. Oh, wow. And then when I heard that this is going on here in Massachusetts, I could not believe that this has no news coverage because this girl is bat crap crazy. This is insane. If this was some dude doing it to a pretty girl, what happened? We'd be all on it. It'd be that thing where they keep showing her pretty senior picture and they're like, she was gone too soon. But because it's a cute girl that did this, no one's talking about it. All right. Here's what the headline says. A heartless killer or brainwashed by love. Honor student who sent 1,000 texts urging her boyfriend to kill herself claims dead boy lured her into a Romeo and Juliet suicide plot. What? Just reading that, I thought I had to go to a mental hospital. That just sounds crazy. Now, imagine if someone like James Holmes or Adam Lanza or any of these killers said this. We'd think they're crazy, but because this girl, Michelle Carter, is cute and she makes adorable faces in court, nobody's talking about it. It says here, she encouraged her friend Conrad Roy, who was her boyfriend, to kill himself inside his truck. If this was Conrad Roy saying that Michelle Carter needs to kill herself, we'd be all on it. Anderson Cooper, Nancy Grace, Megyn Kelly would be on it 24/7. Why is nobody talking about this? Just because she's a girl. And I'm not even trying to be outspoken and edgy when I say that. But give me any other reason why this isn't being talked about. This is a fascinating, evil story. You would think the media would jump on this like ants on a piece of cake in the middle of the street. You would think the media would just climb onto this. I'm surprised I haven't heard about it. The only reason I heard about it is because I went on a British publication's website. When he grew scared, she reportedly told him to get back in the vehicle. He took her advice and passed away of carbon monoxide poisoning. Her lawyer, of course, says that the tax broke no laws. Yeah, she's an angel. She's going to be a great mother someday if for some reason she was to be found innocent. Oh, yeah, she's quite the catch. A girl you bring home to Thanksgiving. A girl you bring out to the nice, classy party when you're making six figures and you go to the company Christmas party. This is who you bring out on the red carpet. Michelle Carter, who sent texts telling her boyfriend to kill himself. Get the hell out of here. I know when a lawyer has to work with their defendant, I know they have to make things up, but come on, he doesn't believe that a second. They claim Carter was brainwashed into helping Roy and that he wanted the pair to die together like Romeo and Juliet. Massachusetts does not have a statute that criminalizes. And now before I get to the news clip, I don't care if this isn't a crime, according to Massachusetts. If you can't put her in jail forever, never, ever, ever leave house arrest, number one, or number two, never let her leave a mental hospital. Even if it's not a crime, what she did, she sent 1,000 texts telling her boyfriend to kill himself. How can you even say that's not a crime? Even if it's not technically a crime, that's just pure evil. Because she wanted to be like Romeo and Juliet. That's insanity. If this was a dude saying this and a pretty girl killed herself, people would be talking about it. I might be wrong. But give me any other reason why the media isn't talking about this and why no one seems to be jumping on her. Just because her boyfriend played baseball, we all kind of think, oh, he should have known better. He should have just gone for any other girl since he's an athlete. What is the reason why we're not talking about this? She sent 1,000 texts saying, kill yourself. And she gave him directions. And when he said, I'm scared, I don't want to do this, she said, keep doing it. Ridiculous. And if it was so much like Romeo and Juliet, why didn't you kill yourself, honey? I'm not saying I want you to kill yourself. Of course I don't. I don't want anybody to die. I'm just saying she obviously wanted him to die, but then wasn't going to do it herself. Because if she really wanted it to be like Romeo and Juliet, in the car with him when he died of carbon monoxide poisoning. I'm just saying. All right, here is the news clip on Michelle Carter. All right, here we go.
We have new developments tonight on a story we've been following for months. Newly released text messages obtained by Eyewitness News shed more light on how a Massachusetts teen allegedly encouraged a fellow teen to commit suicide.
18-year-old Michelle Carter is charged with involuntary manslaughter.
See, here's what I don't get. Massachusetts saying it isn't a crime, but then they're saying that's involuntary manslaughter. You know the lawyer is encouraging the judge somehow. I mean, what she did is not normal. She sent 1,000 texts encouraging her boyfriend to kill himself. There's some crime in there. There's no way in hell in America, in all 50 states of this beautiful country, that there's no way that isn't a crime to tell your boyfriend to kill himself in 1,000 texts. Just saying. Ridiculous.
Involuntary manslaughter and the death of 18-year-old Conrad Roy III. Roy died of carbon monoxide poisoning while sitting in his truck behind a Fairhaven Kmart last July.
Prosecutors say the text messages prove Carter caused his death.
This happened last July and we haven't heard anything. Anything. I have to lean back in my chair. I'm so mad. This is going on a month. To me, this is more important than Ashley Madison. Yippee-ki-yay. Hackers found out that these guys were cheating on their wife and banging out skanks from the website. Whoa. This is an interesting story that teaches a lesson that you can't just get away with this. Nobody talking about this. Why? I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. It was from America. I'm like, no one's talking about it. Can we just take a few days from Trump? Trust me, there's another year of the election. I think we can take a few days off from him and talk about this. Because it sets the precedent that if you're pretty, you can do whatever you want. I know she's going to get away with it, or I know she probably will be charged. Something is up when the media isn't talking about it. I'm just saying. Do your job. You are paid to talk about the news. You are paid to cover and break down and analyze the news. And when all you talk about is Donald Trump, shame on you. Ridiculous. Man. A local high school's morning announcements that breaks down the news does a better job at times. My goodness.
Prosecutors say Michelle Carter wantonly and recklessly assisted Conrad Roy III in committing suicide. Newly released court documents obtained by Eyewitness News detail text messages from July 6th through July 12th, the day before Conrad's death, between the two teens.
Here's what's really creepy about this, and this is on my personal side. Here's what's really eerie about this, is that was one of the most fun weekends of my life. I worked the naked car wash for 102.5 The Bone. I went to Hogan's Beach for the Pitbull Toddler concert for 102.5 The Bone, and I think I went to the beach the day after. Like, I had a really fun weekend those days, and it's weird to think that up in Massachusetts, it's not even like this is on the other side of the world. There's someone who took his own life because his girlfriend told him to. Like, it's just kind of weird that you never know what's going on with other people while you're having the time of your life. That's just a side note. All right, back to the clip.
Prosecutors say Carter, who was 17 at the time, first counseled Conrad to overcome his doubts, telling him he would be happy once he was dead and that his parents would not suffer. Carter, I love you to the...
His parents are suffering. He's dead. Shame on this dirty, rotten girl for even saying this. She is bat crap crazy, and no one seems to want to say it. She's saying you'll like when you're dead. It's like she's encouraging him to go away, to kill himself. That's evil. I really, really hope there's some type of an afterlife. Even if there is, I kind of like being alive. So you know she's crazy when she's saying, oh, it's better, it's more fun when you're dead. No, it's not. You're dead. You're in the ground. You're gone. It's over. It goes black. The end. Like the end of a video game. It's over. All right, back to the clip.
The moon and back, and deeper than the ocean and higher than the pines too, babe, forever and always. It's painless and quick.
Oh my God, is that the craziest text I've ever heard. It's one of those girls where when she was his girlfriend during the school year, she's the one that would get mad. She's like, why are you looking at me that way? Do I look fat? Did I put on too much makeup? Are you mad at me? Did I put on too much perfume? You're mad at me, aren't you? You're mad at me, aren't you? And then she starts screaming across the hall, and all his friends were like, dude, you have to leave her. You can do better. Like, you know, she was just that clingy, crazy girlfriend. Like, you know, they shared a Facebook account. Michelle and Roy love each other. Ugh, I hate when people do that. But that is a side note. Ugh, God, does she make me so mad.
Carter, I love you to the moon and back, and deeper than the ocean and higher than the pines too, babe, forever and always. It's painless and quick. Carter, you said your mom saw a suicide thing on your computer and she didn't say anything. I think she knows.
Just the way she words the text, you can just tell that she is crazy. To me, you would say, I love you so much, babe. I love that you were there for me and you've always had my back and that you deal with my parents. And you begin talking about pine trees and this and that. He should have ran, bro. Come on. She's crazy. She's not worth it. She's not wifey material. She's not even girlfriend material. Man, I feel bad for Roy. This is sad.
It's painless and quick. Carter, you said...
She's saying it's painless and quick because you're dead and you're gone in a split second. I know this is radio, so you can't see me, but I'm getting really, really red, like a fire hydrant. This gets me so mad. Oh, God, this gets me mad. All right, back to the clip.
Said your mom saw a suicide thing on your computer and she didn't say anything. I think she knows it's on your mind and she's prepared for it. Everyone will be sad for a while, but they will get over it and move on.
A good girlfriend would say, I think your mom is worried. Get some help and people will miss you. But she's saying, oh, people will get over it over time. Your mom will be like, Let's get a new son. We have the other kids. If this isn't pure evil, if this doesn't represent someone that doesn't have a heart and that is just pure scum and someone who will burn in hell, I don't know what does. She is making him depressed by putting thoughts in his head like, oh, you should die. It's better. No one loves you. Everyone will move on. And here she is alive, breathing every day while she encouraged her boyfriend, who may have been depressed or brainwashed, into killing himself. She is no different than any of those cults where they drank the Kool-Aid and they died. Shame on this dirty, rotten imbecile. I am keeping it clean. This gets me so mad. Put the death penalty on her. I don't care. I know you guys are going to say, oh, she's young. Oh, she means well this and that. She also sent 1,000 texts saying that her boyfriend should kill himself. And if you look at her pictures, just look up Michelle Carter, and you can see all the news stories about it from news organizations overseas, because America's not talking about it. You'll see that she has this look in her eyes like, oh, what did I do wrong? And I'm looking at Roy. He looks like such a nice kid. He had to be brainwashed by her. He's a good-looking guy. He's in shape. He could have got any girl he wanted. But no, he had to fall for this dirty, rotten apple. All right, back to the clip.
Conrad. Thank you, Michelle. Prosecutors allege Carter devised a plan to run a combustion engine within Conrad's truck to poison him with carbon dioxide. They say she went as far as to pressure Conrad to commit suicide on the short term, questioning why he hadn't already. Carter. You can't think about it. You just have to do it.
If it's such a good idea to die, honey, why aren't you doing it with him? If you love him so much, Michelle Carter, if you really care about Roy and you think being dead so much better and it's such a happier life, why aren't you doing it with him? You claim, oh, this is like Romeo and Juliet, only you're not the one that's dying. I know she might go to jail for a few years and you're saying it's not going to be fun, but she's alive. She's breathing every single day while Roy's dead. He's gone. Ridiculous. My God, this gets me so mad. Put the death penalty on her. And now you might be saying, why? What else is she going to contribute to this world when she sent 1,000 texts telling her boyfriend to kill himself? She is obviously crazy, obviously sick in the head. And there's no meds that can fix that. This is just a dirty, rotten, evil piece of scum. She is no good, and she adds nothing to this earth. Trust me.
Said you were going to do it. Like, I don't get why you aren't. Conrad. I don't get it either. I don't know. Carter. So I guess you aren't going to do it then. All that for nothing. I'm just confused. Like, you were so ready and determined. Conrad.
Why don't you do it then? If it's such a great idea, why don't you do it? What's so sad, what's so heartbreaking about this is the parents have to sit in court and look at her as she has the cute little eyes and the cute face, like it doesn't bother her whatsoever. That's what gets me so mad when I look at pictures. She has no remorse. It's like she's saying, mission accomplished, I got it done, whatever. Imagine being those parents and you just want your son back and you just want to sit down in the living room and be like, Roy, Michelle's not worth it. She's crazy. You're handsome. You play baseball. You're good looking. You're in shape. You can do better. They just want to have that rewind button and get her out of his life. This is someone who should be locked up in a mental hospital. My God.
I am going to eventually. I really don't know what I'm waiting for, but I have everything lined up.
If you love him, do it with him. But why didn't you? Oh, yeah, because you wanted him to die and not you.
Carter. No, you're not, Conrad. Last night was it. You kept pushing it off, and you say you'll do it, but you never do. It's always going to be that way if you don't take action. You're just making it harder on yourself by pushing it off. You just have to do it. On July 13th, the night Conrad took his own life, prosecutors say he called Carter and got out of the car because the carbon monoxide was working and he got scared. They say Carter told him to get back in. Carter's lawyer argues that encouraging someone to commit suicide is not a crime under Massachusetts law.
If it's not a crime under Massachusetts law, that doesn't mean she should go scot-free. Lock her up in a mental institute, give her house arrest. If it really isn't a crime and he's trying to push for that, he can't be serious when he's like, She sent 1,000 texts. Let her go. Get the hell out of here.
He's asking the court to dismiss the manslaughter charge against her. That motion will be heard Monday.
Yeah, just throw it out. It doesn't mean anything. All those texts. Yeah, she meant well. She was just having a bad day. You hear that? Throw out those papers. Let's just forget this ever happened. Come on now. All right, I have this news clip. This accusation by her lawyer is so utterly ridiculous. It's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to trying to get something out of this case. This is when a lawyer is out of ideas. This is when he has no idea what to say anymore or how to defend this crazy girl. Are you ready to hear the most crazy thing ever? This is him. He's just out of ideas, and he heard this, and he's like, oh, I'll run with this. Because at the end of the day, the lawyer's going to get paid. He's going to go home to his good-looking wife and his nice kids and his nice house. So this case doesn't mean anything to him. Are you ready? All right, here we go.
On Thursday, Carter's attorney asked the judge to appoint a special prosecutor because DA Tom Quinn is Roy's cousin.
Their office has alleged that the boss's cousin was killed by Michelle Carter. How can they unring that bell? How can they say that that doesn't appear to the public?
Cataldo continued outside.
How can we say that she's getting a fair shake from this district attorney's office?
Prosecutor Katie Rayburn said a cousinly relationship never existed, and the DA recused himself on day one.
DA Quinn is apparently third cousins with the alleged victim here.
The judge to appoint a special prosecutor because DA Tom Quinn is Roy's cousin.
They want a new prosecutor because they're saying that the one right now is related to Roy. Oh, my God, because they're third cousins. I don't even know my third cousins. I'm not trying to depress you, but when my dad died in November, there were so many people at the funeral. I had no idea who they are. And I'm like, what's your name? They're like, oh, I'm Jeffrey Hoppe. I'm like, who? And they're like, I'm your dad's third cousin removed times 20. I'm like, okay. No one knows who their third cousins is. So shame on this lawyer for even saying that the third cousin being a prosecutor might have a little bias in this case. Everyone has a little bias against Carter because she's a dirty, rotten rat who caused her innocent boyfriend to kill himself. It's not like if you get a new prosecutor, they're going to be like, oh, Carter Manuel, she's cute. She'll get her life together someday. Get the hell out of here.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
This is a very interesting one. A father was shot 3 times in front of his wife and his kids. And I will talk about that and more. But first, tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio and let me know what you think. All right.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.
Fantasy Fanatics has changed its name. We're now the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour with hosts Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky. Same time, Fridays, 2 to 4 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. The Ryan and Ryan Power Hour will be transitioning away from fantasy sports talk and talking more about Chicago sports and sports in general. Make sure you tune in as we will still be doing our signature Pick'em segments and bringing you updates and up-to-the-minute sports news. So listen in to us every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com or on your mobile device using the TuneIn Radio app. Hi, this is Ryan Stuppridge, one of the hosts of the Sports Renegades, Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. On the Sports Renegades, Ryan Risky and I will discuss all the hot sports topics and all your favorite Chicago sports. Chicago baseball is back and better than ever, so look no further than the Sports Renegades to get your Cubs and White Sox fix. We're also discussing the Chicago Blackhawks as they try to chase down their 3rd Stanley Cup in 6 years. Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky bring you all the best on the Sports Renegades, Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com.
It's time to turn Hoppe on. It's time to turn Hoppe on.
Oh, yeah, I love my mentor, my good friend Louis 2 Live from Dance Factory Radio in Chicago. I mean, listen to this drop. It gives me chills every time.
It's time to turn Hoppe on.
Like, that is a insane radio voice. Like, that is just legit. He does really, really good voiceover work. All right. tweeting me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Let me know what you think. And also, you can vote Hoppe Hour as the Best of the Bay by the Creative Loafing Best of the Bay 25th Anniversary Poll. Just go to tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. That's tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour and click on Best Local Podcast and scroll down to Hoppe Hour. I appreciate it. Doesn't this beat just make you want to cuddle up with your girl and get groovy? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, girl. You look so good in that lingerie. Ow! All right, let's turn it off before it gets too creepy. All right, I saw this headline, too, on the dailymail.com, and this is another website I'm going to begin going to a lot. I like what they bring here because they have news worldwide, and they're, like, covering news that you never see. And it says, father shot 3 times in front of his wife and kids by teen robbers who knocked on their door claiming to have a flat tire. Ridiculous. I would be very suspicious when they say I have a flat tire and you go to some random dude's house. Wouldn't you call everyone you knew and then AAA? Why would you go to some rich, preppy house in a nice neighborhood? Oh, yeah, because you're going to rob it. All right, here is the news clip. Take it away, Robin Roberts.
The victims of a violent home invasion in Atlanta speaking out for the first time this morning. A man shot twice trying to protect his family, his wife racing out of the house with their 6-year-old, frantically calling 911 for help. It's an ABC News exclusive, and Steve Osunsami has their story.
Can you imagine being the kids? Like, that must be so frightening. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. I've never been in a life or death situation or one when I'm like really scared and you go into like control mode and you're trying to figure out how to survive. Like, I've lived a pretty easy life. I cannot imagine what it's like to have to think quickly because you're about to get hurt or robbed. Like, I don't want to jinx it and I don't want to get robbed tomorrow. I'm just saying I've never had it. It's just kind of a weird thing to think about. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
We're being robbed at gunpoint. At the front door, he just pulled a gun on my husband.
This morning, the young family who made this call for help and survived a brutal home invasion is speaking out exclusively about the moment a crew of crooks broke into their Atlanta home.
I'm not saying when you rob a home, that's cool, because it's not. You're scum, you're cheap, get a job, get a life, you're nothing but a thug. But at the same time, I can't imagine putting someone's life at risk and putting a gun to their head just so that you can rob them. You must just be the bottom of the barrel scum. You must just be heartless. There must be some excuse in your life to why you are just this piece of dirt who would rob a family and scare kids. You must just be evil and heartless. Nobody likes you. You have no friends if you spend your time getting money by robbing rich people and then selling their things. Get a job. Get a life. Ugh, it gets me mad. All right, back to the clip.
I just remember audibly praying out loud.
Whitney and Mike Lash say they had just returned from vacation last Sunday when they heard a knock at their door.
My heart just sank because I had a feeling that that was just an excuse and that we were probably about to be robbed. Right about that moment, I saw him put the gun on Mike.
He warned me for one last time to get out of the way.
Yo, man, get out of the way. I have to rob your 3D TV. Like, really? I'm not saying it's better to rob a house without someone, but at least you're not putting a life in harm's way and you're not traumatizing them. I mean, that's something you have to go to therapy for. Right now, I'm recording this podcast at 2 a.m. and it's the same time in Atlanta because I'm on the East Coast. Can you imagine how hard it is for them to sleep just because this thug tried to rob them? I mean, they have no conscience if you're robbing a family. Ugh, that gets me mad.
And then I felt him shoot me in my left leg.
He was shot in both legs. 4 men forced themselves into the home. Inside, their 2-year-old son was taking a nap. Whitney Lash ran for her life out the back door, holding their 6-month-old daughter and calling 911.
You heard a shot being fired?
One of the men started following her.
Like, you must be that evil if you're just cool with robbing a house and you hear this in the background as you're just going through her jewelry box. The pure fear that brings when she says, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" Because these scumbag leeches are going through the house. I'm getting chills, and I feel like I'm there right now just thinking about it.
One of the men started following her.
He came out the back door with the gun pointed at us and just chased me all the way through the yard.
She says it's a miracle she and the baby weren't wounded. So far, one suspect, 18-year-old Brandon Jerome Smith, is in police custody. Police are still searching for his 3 alleged accomplices.
What a loser. You're 18 years old. You know you have nothing ahead of you in life because you never paid attention in school and you had to rely on doing crimes because you never knew what you wanted to do with your life. So I'll just begin being a thug now. You know for a fact that he will rat on his friends because they're going to lay down the book and try and scare him. And they're going to be like, "So, where are your friends, Brandon?" "I don't know." And you know they're going to scare him so much that he'll be like, "Oh yeah, they live on this part of town. Please don't give me 20 years in jail." Man, are they a bunch of wussies. People in gangs should do this. Ridiculous.
We're encouraging those three individuals to turn themselves in.
Mike Lash is still recovering this morning, but his family is thankful they're all alive.
We really do value every moment that we have together now.
For Good Morning America, Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Atlanta.
That is a good point by her, that you are supposed to appreciate every moment. It is kind of weird to think that in a split moment, something can happen. I'm not trying to pull out the sympathy card or bring this back to me, but it sort of reminds me of back in November, I was having the best workout of my life. I had the best swim. I did like 12 machines. I felt great. And I came home and I found my dad dead in his back room, and he had leukemia. And it's amazing how something can happen in a split moment. Or when I got into a car crash and I was driving, and it just happens real quick. And it's just sort of like, we should appreciate every single simple moment of our life. Who cares if work sucks? Who cares if we're at home and our friends can't hang out and we're just binge watching Netflix? Like, it's not until something traumatic happens that you really appreciate the downtime. And I've come to learn that the last 9 months. Like, some of the best days is when I'm at home just binge watching Deadwood on HBO, which is a really good show.
Next on Hoppe Hour.
I will end this riveting episode of Hoppe Hour with something I saw on the Huffington Post. I'm not going to say which TV news network it is. If you want to see the article, you can go to their website. But it talks about how there is a certain anniversary of something traumatic that happened in America's history. Something that was so awful, something that took our country back. And they're not talking about the anniversary of it. They keep talking about Donald Trump. And I will tell you what they are not talking about after this. But first, tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Let me know what you think. All right, we will be right back on Hoppe Hour. Hang on.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.
Fantasy Fanatics has changed its name. We're now the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour with hosts Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky. Same time, Fridays, 2 to 4 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. The Ryan and Ryan Power Hour will be transitioning away from fantasy sports talk and talking more about Chicago sports and sports in general. Make sure you tune in, as we will still be doing our signature Pick'em segments and bringing you updates and up-to-the-minute sports news. So listen in to us every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com or on your mobile device using the TuneIn Radio app. Ryan Stuppridge and Ryan Risky host the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour, Fridays from 12 to 2 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com. We're saving the universe with our sports talk. Cubs, Sox, Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, DePaul Blue Demons? Yes, it's all right here on Ryan and Ryan. If it's not impossible for you, listen to the Ryan and Ryan Power Hour every Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. on SportsTownChicago.com.
We score every one of us, stand for every one of us. We save everybody and everybody flash.
Hoppy ran so hard he starts to sweat. It's basically his cardio. Hoppy Hour is on.
He hates the Kardashians and Dwight Howard, but he doesn't hate me. You're listening to Hoppy Hour.
All right, welcome back to Hoppy Hour. Before we get up on out of here, tweet me at Ryan Hoppy Radio. Let me know what you think about my rants. I'm not going to say which news network covered this because there's no reason to. But I found it sickening. Guess what event in American history they pushed back a special news report on because they wanted to talk about Donald Trump? Guess what traumatic moment that shook up this country forever? Something that when I hear the name, I just feel sad. A certain news network pushed aside a documentary, a special report on the 10th anniversary a decade ago. Hurricane Katrina happened because they want to talk more about Donald Trump. This represents idiocracy. The fact that you would not talk about Hurricane Katrina and the anniversary and the 1,600 people that died just because of some rich dude who has the money to run for president. If I were Donald Trump and I wanted to be a respectable candidate, I would go on TV and say, don't talk about me. Talk about what happened 10 years ago that was so traumatic to the city of New Orleans and the South. If he was a respectable candidate, he would do that. But this proves that he's nothing but a media attention slimeball who just wants to somehow win the presidency. And he's already running out of steam because if you look at his rallies, it's a bunch of buffoons that just cheer on whatever he says. Trust me, he's not going to be president, and shame on the media. I look down on them for not talking about Hurricane Katrina and pushing it back a day. I feel like we seem to kind of overlook what happened with it just because it happened a decade ago. Can you imagine if it happened today? There would be live tweets 24/7 of the images of when it happened. But because it happened a decade ago and we've moved on, and we all had razors back then and Blackberries and we went on MySpace, we all seem to just kind of forget how awful it was and how that city was underwater and people died, people lost their pets, people lost their families, and they had to move away. People seem to think that everything is handy-dandy now and it's all been fixed. I mean, their mayor went to jail for 9 years and not everything is fixed. They're under a lot of turmoil. I was reading online. People think it's all great over there. It's a lot better. The Saints winning in 2010 helped, but that city isn't perfect, and there's still things in the city that show that they got hurt during 2005. And so once again, shame on the media for not bringing it back to light, especially since a lot of the millennials were in kindergarten when it happened. We need to teach kids about history because this is sort of retro now. It's going on a decade. This is idiocracy. This is so stupid that they would rather talk about Donald Trump and his quote-unquote presidency. He's not going to win. Plus, 1,600 lives that were lost is more important than a rich douchebag who's running for president. Trust me, I find him entertaining. I love that he's bringing down the Republican Party and that he's very entertaining and makes the debates watchable. But at the same time, step aside. We're not going to have a new president until November 2016. So maybe we can quit talking about those buffoons, those fake politicians for one day and talk about the innocent lives that were taken by that hurricane. I'm just saying. You hear this music, it means we have to get up on out of here. All right, I am out of breath. Right now it is 2:11 in the morning. I have been ranting so hard, I am very tired. But I wanted to do a show for you guys. Our listenership and our quote-unquote ratings when it comes to downloads have never been higher. And that's because you guys support the show, you listen, and you have our back. You got me on the ballot for Best Local Podcast by The Creative Loafing here in Tampa Bay, and I'm honored. Let's help make this podcast the best local podcast. So just go to tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. That is tinyurl.com/vote Hoppe Hour. Also, tweet at me at Ryan Hoppe Radio. If you are worth following back, I will add you back. Also, download my app for any Apple device. It's Hoppe Radio. You can listen to my shows on demand, and when I do live speakers like this one, you can chat me live and I will see it. Also, download the TuneIn radio device if you have an Android or Stitcher or Spreaker, and just search up Hoppe Radio. Go to my website, hopperadio.com, hoppesroad.com, and if you want to collaborate with your business, your side venture, your freelancing, anything you do, I have a bunch of ideas that I want to run with. Send me an email, ryan@hopperadio.com. This has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Hoppe Hour.
Pickles, what are you doing? Suddenly all my senses are back. I just discovered that everything has a smell, and I don't like it. Did you know vomit tastes bad?
Yes, I've heard rumors to that effect.
Oh, God, I smell feet, and lots of them.
Scaring me.
Me too.
Yeah. I have a hammer and I'll use it.
Oh, my God. I think I can smell Grammy decaying.
I'll go mask it with lavender water.
Forget it. I gotta get away from this stink. I'll be at the rusty bucket.
Wait a minute. Now I smell something.
Sorry, she frightened me.